Do you ever feel that when you walk into the gym, everyone just stares at you? Or maybe you're so afraid that you've not even made it to the gym. You layer your gym clothes and then you get up that morning and you're just like, nope, not doing it today. And then you think, do you know what? Maybe I'll just build my own gym at home. It's so absurd and also understandable why people get so much gym anxiety, especially people that have never been to the gym before. They don't know how the gym actually works, how the machines work, or what even to do when they get there. So it stops people from doing the very things that they need to do to get them to reach their goals. I'm Megan Morensky and this is the Find Your Peak Fitness podcast. And today I'm going to give you 5 tips to get over that gym anxiety and get you to get your booty in the gym. So I recall when I first started going to the gym, this was over 10 years ago now, I felt the gym anxiety. I felt the imposter syndrome of, I don't belong here. I don't really know what to do, but I'm going to pretend I know what to do. I'm just going to kind of walk around and stick to the same machines that I usually have done or have seen people do, and it looks pretty easy. And I'll kind of just stick within my comfort zone. And that lasted maybe like a week or 2, and then I stopped because the discomfort just got too much. I totally get it. I'm a pretty anxious person, honestly, and it's something I'm always kind of battling. But the more you do something, the more comfortable you get with something. It's like anything new. Think back to something new you did. When you first do it, it's uncomfortable. But if we gave in to all those fears every single time, we would get absolutely nowhere. I can tell you this right now, that this podcast would not be a thing if I didn't have to lean into that discomfort. It still makes me uncomfortable putting a camera up and a microphone in front of me and me talking about a topic that I'm very passionate about, but it's uncomfortable. But the more I'm doing it, the more reps I'm getting. I'm getting that a little bit more comfortable doing it. And hopefully my episodes are getting better. So we just aim to get better over time. Anyway, with that being said, my goal is hopefully you get something from this episode, as always, but hopefully you can apply these tips where you no longer have the heebie-jeebies as you walk into the gym. So we're going to cover 5 tips today, and hopefully these things will help you on your journey to the gym. So first things first, but that is, do not compare yourself to anyone else. Everyone in that gym is after one goal, and that is self-improvement. It's not a selfish place to be, but the gym is it's kind of selfish, honestly. You are just focusing on yourself. Everyone in there has goals. That is one of the things I love about the gym, that everyone is in there trying to better themselves. And it's a beautiful thing. We're not there to get compliments. We are there to work and to better ourselves. Do not compare yourself to anyone else because they're more focused on themselves over what you're doing. In the nicest way possible, no one really gives a crap about what you're doing. They're so focused on themselves that they're not even looking. So don't let other people put you off going into the gym. I know it feels like the eyes are on you, but I promise you're just blending into the crowd. You really are. You really are. With that, whether you're comparing yourself to other people with regards to what they're doing or the exercises they're doing, I also don't want you to compare yourself to how much they're lifting. I always tell my clients, leave your ego at the door. Like, your body doesn't really know the number of weights you're lifting. Like, it doesn't know, oh, I'm curling 30 pounds. All it knows is the stimulus it's placed on it. All it knows is the weight. So don't worry too much about what you're lifting. And absolutely do not compare yourself to other people who are lifting. You don't know their background. You don't know their history. You don't know what they're doing. So don't compare. You're on your own journey. Okay? With that being said, you are definitely on your own journey, and everyone in there is on their own journey. So don't let what they're doing put you off. It would suck if your journey was cut short because you were comparing yourself to someone else. And you can't blame anyone else for that but yourself. So when you're going to the gym, going in with the mindset that you're doing this for you. Tip number 2, and this is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see, is people do not have a plan when they walk into the gym. So that is tip number 2, is have a plan when you walk into the gym. Make sure you know what you're doing. Even if that's your first time to the gym, have some sort of a workout. Okay, it's never been easier to find a workout. So go on ChatGPT, type in beginner gym workout, and it will spit out something for you. You can even put a time frame in there. You could say beginner 30-minute gym workout. Once you've got your workout, make sure you actually look at the exercises that you're supposed to be doing and watch some YouTube videos or find people on Instagram that you can follow, and make sure you have a rough idea of how you're supposed to perform that movement. You also want to have a rough idea of how many sets and reps you want to do, but that is a great starting point for when you first start going to the gym. Then you can figure out the weights once you're there. With that being said, if this is the first time you're going to the gym, don't expect to lift like crazy amounts of weights. Just go in, I call this your foundational week, and just get your starting weights, and that's when you aim to progress from there. Okay, so your first week's your foundational week. You're just getting in, getting used to the program, getting used to the workouts, getting used to the movements, and then you can progress from there. So don't worry about how much weight you're lifting. Okay, if you're still really struggling, if you get there and you've got your plan and you've got all the workouts laid out and the exercises, and you get there and you're still like, this machine looks different than what I watched the video on, and you're unsure. Most machines nowadays, if not all machines now, will have instructions on them. Just read the instructions, and usually there's little diagrams, and also like on the diagrams there's like a little Manny, and he's got his, the highlighted, if you're like on a preacher curl machine, the little biceps are highlighted, so okay, that's working the biceps. So there's instructions on the machines. If you're still like unsure, ask one of the trainers in the gym. Okay, as a former personal trainer myself, most trainers, we are here to help. Okay, we want to help. So you can always ask the trainers in the gym to help you show you how to use the machines. Tip number 3, focus on form, not weights. Like I said, when you first start going out, you'll have your foundational week. I want you to focus more on the form more than anything. Okay, the weights will come. I want you to think quality over quantity to start. Okay, so it's not about how much you're lifting, it's the quality of your actual lifts. If you're feeling in the right target muscle, that also might require you to learn the target muscle. So knowing what a bicep and a tricep is, or where your quads are, where your hamstrings are, that will help you tremendously. But don't be overwhelmed if all the information doesn't come to you in that first session. Okay, that's where you have to kind of keep at it, and you'll start learning and growing as you go. And just to give you some insight, it's a never-ending journey. No matter how clued up you are on the gym and anatomy and muscle growth or fat loss, there's always something new because we're dealing with the human body, and that's the beauty of it. There's always something to focus on. That's why I love it. It's like a never-ending learning journey, which is cool. And I stress this one a lot because form isn't just important on how much quality of the lift you're getting, but it's also to prevent injury. You don't want to injure yourself when you first go there. So like I said, don't go in there loading up the weights and then just like, oh, it looks like I do this, and just randomly throwing weights everywhere, because you'll hurt yourself. Okay, so do things methodically to begin with. Like I said, if you're not sure, ask someone. Another thing is actually recording yourself. So take your phone out, and again, no one cares. Okay, I do all the time. Just take your phone out, prop against your water bottle, take a video, and compare your form to someone else's that you see explaining on YouTube. Okay, find a YouTube tutorial and compare your video to theirs and see what you're doing. Another thing you can also do, if you have someone in your life that knows the gym and knows the movement, send it to them and see what they think. Get a second opinion. But you want to make sure that you're getting the most from these movements, but you're also performing them safely. That's why a lot of the time I ask my clients to send me form videos. That way I know they're performing it safely, effectively, and they're also pushing themselves. Tip number 4, and that is learn the gym etiquette. Now, this is not actually a rule book, and these are things that you will pick up over time. So don't stress about these too much just now. But this is more just about being respectful in the gym. Okay, like anywhere, there's things that you should do and things that you should not do. Like if you go into a supermarket, you get your trolley from the rack, and once you're done with it, you put the trolley away. You wouldn't just leave your trolley in the middle of the car park. Okay, so that's like supermarket etiquette. So view it like that. Okay, so a few simple rules to follow is just making sure you wipe down equipment before and after use. This is something that is a lot more stressed on just because of COVID. Before COVID, it wasn't as stressed about, but now it is, especially if you sweat a lot. Please just wipe down the equipment. Next thing is re-rack your weights. Now this is something, again, as someone who has worked in a gym, I see this all the time, and it is a pet peeve of mine, especially when you have people that leave the 45-pound weights on the bar, and then someone comes in that's 45-pound weight. That's quite a heavy plate. Not everyone can lift that, and it's just a little bit of it's a pet peeve. So just please rack your weights. So once you're done with your dumbbells, put them back, and also especially when you're using your barbells or on your Smith machines, take the plates off and put them back. So re-rack your weights. Next one is don't sit on your phone and doom scroll when you're sitting on a machine. I see this all the time. If you're using a machine, you don't have to rush it, because I get it. You have to rest between your sets. But if you're sitting on a machine for like 15 minutes and you've only done one set and you're spending the other time just scrolling through your phone, hurry up, because there's people probably needing that machine. So just be mindful of what you're doing between your sets. It's okay to rest, and I get you don't want to get up and walk around when you're resting because someone will steal your machine. I get it. But just make sure you're resting for your minute or 90 seconds or 2 minutes, whatever it is. You're not sitting there scrolling through TikTok for hours on end, because people are probably waiting for that machine. The next one is give others space when they need it. And this is more to do with the squat racks and where the barbells are, and even the cable machines. The machines itself, like your fixed machines, they're spaced out in a way that you should have plenty of room, so doesn't really apply to that. But more like your free weights and your cable machines, this is where this mostly applies. But just be mindful of where people are working and the exercises they're doing. Like if you see someone maybe doing like cable flies and they take a couple of steps out and maybe they're resting, don't go like sit or stand in the middle of the cable machine where they just were and start doing like goblet squats or something. Okay, so just be mindful of where people are and the movements they're doing. And just off of that, if you are someone doing movements that requires you to move, again, just be mindful of where you're doing that. For example, if you're doing dumbbell walking lunges, go somewhere that's kind of like a straight up and down, maybe on the side of the gym. Don't walk like right through, like in front of where everyone's, right in front of the dumbbells, where everyone's facing the mirror and you're just like squatting in front of them or lunging in front of them. Okay, so just be mindful of what people are doing and where they are, and they'll be mindful of you too. Last little tip, and that's just asking someone if they're finished with a piece of equipment. For some reason, people get so nervous of asking people like, how many do you have left, or do you mind if I use this? It's way more respectful for you to ask them rather than just assume and pick it up and take it, because they might still be using it. And this has happened a lot. It happened to me very early on, and I was honestly so scared to even say to them like, oh, I'm not done using that. I would just let them take it. And most people will do that. They won't come up to you and say I was still using that, because it's confrontational, and most of us try to avoid confrontation. But just ask someone if they're done with it. They won't mind, and they may say to you like, hey, I've just got 2 more sets. And you'll be like, perfect, cool, no problem. Simple as that. Okay, tip number 5 and final tip of the episode. And this is something, if you've listened to previous episodes, that you've heard me preach this before, but focus on consistency over perfection. I cannot stress this enough. It's not about your 3-hour workouts, 5 days a week. It's about your consistency over time. If you need to start small, start small. And if that's as small as 2 30-minute sessions per week for the first month, then so be it. That's a great starting point. I would rather you were consistent with that than you were sporadic and having 3 2-hour sessions one week and then nothing the next week and then another workout session the week after that, and you're just kind of all over the place. Okay, with anything you do with health and fitness, it's consistency over perfection. And that's also outside the health and fitness realm. The habit long term is what matters. Okay, and to establish a habit, you actually have to start the thing. So start going to the gym, start off small ones that seems easier, then you can just add more sessions as you go. Okay, and the quality of your work will come. So that's at the start, it will seem a little iffy. Like I said, when I first started this podcast episode, I remember listening to it and be like, oh my goodness, that is horrendous. But I think I'm getting better over time. So just stick with it and the quality will come. Okay, the worst thing you can ever do is just stop and let almost like the fear take over. You don't want to be that person that says, oh, I wish I stuck with this, and it's almost too late now. Or something happens down the line, it's like, if I would have kept going. Okay, so don't let the fear overcome. Just remember this, that you are one workout away from changing your life. I think back to when I first started going to the gym, and if I just stopped, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I really don't. Now, I'm not saying that your workout is going to lead you into a profession in the health and fitness industry, but you never know where it might take you. Okay, you're improving your health, so maybe having better health will lead you somewhere else. You have no idea where it's going to take you. But I've said this before, without your health, you have nothing. So regardless of what your goals are, whether that's performance, whether it's health focus, longevity, competitive, whatever your focus is, stick with it, because you never know what path you're going to be led on. Okay, but you truly are one workout away from changing your life. So don't let the world kind of stop you from doing that. Don't give in to the worldly expectations or letting, your fear take over. Just remember, if you're intimidated by the gym or the people that are in the gym, the only person that's missing out is you. The people that are already there, they don't care if you go to the gym or not. But if your own mind stops you from going to the gym because you think people are looking at you, then it's you that's missing out. And I don't want that for you. Okay, I'm going to wrap up the episode there. If this episode was valuable for you, then please like, share, and subscribe, because you never know whose life you're going to be changing. You are one workout away from changing your life, and you never know who might be in the same boat. So please like, share, and subscribe if you found this video valuable. If you have any questions, you can reach me on Instagram. I'll also link my application form below. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next week.